Hi, everybody. Welcome to Am I the Asshole podcast. I'm joined today by not my lovely co-host. Oh, my God. What is this? Well, Sarah said she had a cold, folks. And I was like, no, you have coronavirus. Do not come over. I'm joined by the great Emily Lubin.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Emily, guys, is the co-host of Hot Mess Comedy Hour. So you and Andrea have that podcast.
That's true. And I'm also the co-host of this show because Sarah's dead.
You killed Sarah. Emily.
Well, technically coronavirus
killed her.
But did I lace a blanket? Perhaps.
That's the best way. That is the best way to spread a disease.
I learned from the pioneers.
Yeah, that's good. So I summarize the hot mess for me because I've been on it and we usually talk about sex and stuff, but what's your kind of log line like pitch on hot mess?
Sure. So my podcast Hot Mess is interview style and we ask performers, but mostly comedians. We've started branching out a little bit, but it's mostly comedians. We ask them why they're a hot mess. And we get all kinds of different answers. Sometimes people say something like, oh, I'm a hot mess because I'm an ex-drug addict. And then some people say, I'm a hot mess because my father wasn't around. And then some people are they say they're messy and then we yell at them because that's
messy?
It's a terrible answer.
That's not very deep at all.
It says this, I was telling you before the mics were on that we send out an email before the guest comes into the show.
Right.
And it says what we're going to talk about. And then we have in bold colored letters, it says, please don't say you're messy because that is the worst answer. God. And we can't talk about it anymore because how many things are you supposed to say?
Right.
Unless you are a literal hoarder, just don't say you're messy.
You have to be so messy for it to be interesting.
Exactly. And then people come in and you can tell they didn't read the email.
I'm messy.
I'm
messy.
I just can't help it. I'm just a slob.
Right.
I don't know what to tell you. Okay, you're a fucking slob. I'm a slob. We're all slobs. Get off my set.
Who isn't messy? I mean, everyone is messy. And then if you're type A, you go, I got to clean that mess. But everyone's is messy, at least for a time.
Well, I have a theory that every couple has a messy person and a not messy person. Although I'm sure there are like OCD people that get together and they just feed off each other's craziness.
So I think it's messy versus dirty is my paradigm. My girlfriend is actually messier than me, but I'm dirtier than her. So
that's worse.
I agree. I mean, I think a dirtier person can have a gross house and a messy person just has shit all over.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's kind of the split for us.
Yeah, I'm definitely messy. Like, I will never leave a dish covered in grime in the sink. Like, that's not my vibe. But I will leave my house looking like a Forever 21 dressing room.
I have seen you show up somewhere and been like, Emily, what's this all about?
What do you mean?
Like, you used to come over when we used to do our videos and you would just be like in like sweats.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's like the uniform. I'm always in sweats.
You're a sweats gal.
Yeah, I'm a sweats gal. I'm like a jeans and t-shirt kind of gal. I just don't really like dressing up, but that's another. I'm also I've never been very comfortable in like tight clothes. And it's probably because I used to be overweight, but I don't like wearing tight clothes. So sweats sweats allow me to move. They allow me to do high kicks and shit.
I love tight clothes.
Are you serious?
Yeah, not to wear. I mean, on women.
Duh.
Is that obvious?
Yeah, I would think so. Nobody looks at like a girl in a muumuu and says, "Oh,
wait, a muumuu?
A muumuu.
What's a muumuu?
A muumuu is like an oversized sweater, but like one where if you were to put your arms up like a wingspan, it would go out to here.
Oh, that's called a muumuu. Mm-hmm. Is that a cow reference?
Yeah, it's fashion, sweetie. Look it up.
Muumuu. Wow, that's a lot of fun. Well, guys, we got one heck of an app for you guys. I mean, Sarah might be out, but Sarah's kind of here in spirit. Never forget that. And our second story of the day. AITA, if I, 25F, break up with my boyfriend of 2 years because he's obsessed with Dave & Buster's. I mean, come on, folks.
How into Dave & Buster's would you need to be obsessed with Dave & Buster's? That's my question.
Our first story, AITA for not sharing my monetary success with my family. But first, we have a little segment here. I think this can go fast. But look, guys, I don't know where everyone's at. And I hope you're not where I'm at, because I'm in a state of extreme panic and anxiety. And Emily, I don't know if you're here with me, but I believe the coronavirus is going to reshape society as we know it. Okay, everything's going to be different in 1 or 2 weeks. Where are you on this, Emily?
I'm not with you.
You're not with me. You're not afraid?
I think this is just another case of mass hysteria. And
really?
Yeah, you know.
Really, I'm jealous.
Yeah, but I mean, I tend to think that about most things, because most things turn out to be fake. Or not fake, but most things.
Not that big of a deal.
Not as big of a deal as projected. And I know that from the years and years of
Well, what other things have you not reacted to? Were you like
when people
9/11? It'll blow over.
No, we didn't get any warning about 9/11.
Right,
9/11, by the way, is my birthday. And
oh my God, you're a 9/11 baby?
I am a 9/11 baby.
Oh
and
my God.
let me tell you, it's not like when people say 9/11, I immediately think my birthday, but but when people say, what's your birthday? I immediately think, oh shit, how do I get out of this?
Ooh.
Or what are the questions going to be? Because it's always the same
early
question.
September, early Sep.
I always say that. I always say September, and they're like, oh, September what? I'm like, five days after the 6th.
Well, what is a day? Exactly.
If it's a leap year, then it would be the 10th. No.
That's so funny.
But what I'm saying is, whenever there's supposed to be some kind of natural disaster or a tropical storm or a blizzard or whatever, you go to Target, right?
Yes.
And I know this from growing up in the suburbs. You go to Target.
Yes.
And even if you're just at Target to buy cereal, there's no fucking cereal on the shelf except for grape nuts. That's the only cereal. Exactly.
Right.
The preppers, there are no batteries.
Right.
They're only 4D batteries, nothing that you need.
Right.
And then it always turns up being nothing. And then you don't have batteries for a month.
I hope you're right, but I have a question for you about 9/11 birthday.
Oh, yeah.
When 9/11 happened in 2001, it happens every year, so think people forget. But when 9/11 happened in 2001, was there ever a moment where you go, oh, my birthday's fucked? Did you ever have the thought as a kid?
I don't remember having that thought on the actual 9/11 because that was the year I turned 11.
No way, 11 on 9/11?
Mm-hmm.
It was your golden birthday?
Yeah, is that what that's called?
Oh my God, yeah, it's called a golden birth.
Yeah.
Or if you get peed on your birthday, that's the other golden birthday, but that's a different podcast.
Right, golden showers
shower birthday.
Yeah, you have to keep that part in. I'm hoping to have that birthday this coming year.
You should do it on 9/11.
I would be because that's my birthday.
Boy,
but
if Sarah was here, she would be hushing me. She'd be like, "Don't say that."
There's nothing that I haven't heard. That's the thing. I don't
know, right?
And I don't even. I'm not even here to make people feel bad because if I ask somebody when's your birthday and they said 666. I don't even know. There is no equivalent to 9/11. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, you're right. There really is no date that's as upsetting for people.
None. Even if it's Pearl Harbor, do you even remember what day that was?
Pearl Harbor, December 5th or something.
Okay. Well, some of us don't know history.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably wrong. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, then Hitler's birthday is 420, but then that's kind of
true.
Overshadowed by 420.
And also, if somebody said that their birthday was 420, I'd be like, fuck yeah.
That's lit, dude.
Yeah, I don't know if I would
Oh
say
my
it.
God, that would be so annoying. I think I would rather have 9/11 birthday than 420 birthday. That would just be so exhausting.
Well, my co-host Andrea always tries to relate to me by saying that her birthday's on New Year's Eve. And I'm like, yeah, it's not the same. Yours is a holiday.
No, I understand, Emily.
Yeah.
I understand. Well, this first situation is about coronavirus, and Emily is wrong, and she will be dead soon. But that's okay, because we have her here now. Nikki W. writes on the Facebook group, direct post to the Facebook group. You'll love to see it, people. On behalf of her friend, AITA for telling a coworker to cover his mouth when he coughs and cough into his elbow instead. He's a senior manager running a team in an office. One of his team is constantly coughing his lungs up and not covering his mouth at all. It's happening in meetings and people are talking about it. He sent him a discreet email asking him to be aware of what he is doing and cover his mouth with tissue or cough into his elbow. He's now really upset. Is my friend the asshole? I mean, who are these people that need this explained? I mean, they're out there because I see them on the train every morning.
Coughers.
I'm like, coughers. And let me tell you, yackers. You know, a cougher, but a yacker, it's like you have a seal inside of you, or you need to go to the hospital now.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's selfish to let out a cough, and to even cover it with your hand is kind of gross, because
Not
then
enough.
anything you touch with your hand. But I imagine that some people don't want to cough into their elbow or sneeze into their elbow because they're worried about getting it on their clothes.
Yeah.
To that, I say better on your clothes than in my lungs.
Absolutely. Make someone sick.
Yeah. And also stop being dramatic, because usually when you cough and sneeze, nothing comes out. And if there's a little snot on the sleeve, who cares?
Right. Just wipe it off.
Just wipe it off.
Find a solution. I mean, there's a lot of, especially now. I mean, look, Emily, I'll tell you how crazy I am. I moved.
Oh, I know how crazy you are. You stormed out of a pizza place once because you saw the guy behind the counter touch the piece of pizza with his bare hands.
You don't touch the pizza, sir.
You don't think they're washing their hands working in a kitchen?
I don't care. But you have to realize, guys, the context of that incident. Now I am okay with that. The reason I freaked out that day was because I had just had food poisoning.
You did?
Yeah, I had food poisoning a week before.
From what?
This place called Arc Chicken in the East Village. And it felt like my kidneys were being stabbed with tiny knives. And for 2 hours, it was the worst pain I was ever in.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So you were just paranoid about the food poisoning.
Exactly.
So if somebody touched your pizza now, you would eat it?
Yeah. Well, if the pizza man touched it, if a random stranger was like, oh, I'll speak to you here. Let me give him a little pet. I'd be like, sir, please.
I don't know. I'm just not like that. Like, anybody could touch my pizza.
Yeah.
Anybody could share my drink. Like, I just
You're
don't.
fine with it.
I've never had a problem with germs or anything like that.
You're in a honeymoon. You're in your life is a little disease-free honeymoon. My life, let me tell you about my life. I get on the train in the morning. I hear a cougher. I'm like, it's time to switch cars.
No.
Yes, I'm switching cars all morning.
Just since the coronavirus thing?
Yeah, since the coronavirus for the last 3 weeks, I've been practicing. I practice breathing strategies. I don't breathe certain air. If I deem certain people to be a threat, I hold my breath.
How do you tell?
I profile them.
Yeah.
It's extremely racist. I'm not going to go into the mechanics of it, but there is
no, please do.
Well, if they're old, I don't like that. I feel that the old are more susceptible to the virus. And also, I feel like old people are more susceptible to a surprise cough, and then they're going to cough on me, so I got to watch out for that. But I basically just if they're wearing a face mask, forget it. I'm getting the hell away from them.
But don't you think people who are wearing the masks are trying to...
Yeah, they are trying. But that just means they're infected. I can't trust that.
But don't people also wear the masks when they're...
I don't distinguish. If you have a mask, I assume that you have full-blown coronavirus. I cannot further analyze that.
So you opt for the train car with no one wearing a mask, where if somebody were to cough, it would immediately
if
be
there's a
on
cougher,
you.
I'm out. If there's a cougher, I'm out. If there's a sneezer, I'm out.
How long does it take you to get to work?
An hour, but it feels like 40 hours because I am sweating the whole time.
You're playing like musical train cars the whole way to work.
Absolutely.
Do you have canned food and cornstarch?
I'm getting it. Yeah, I'm getting it. I bought buckets.
Danny.
I bought 3 5-gallon buckets from Home Depot. They're food tight. You can seal those puppies. I'm going to get 20 pounds of rice, 20 pounds of beans. And I know you guys think I'm crazy. It is a little crazy. And I hope, and I mean this, I hope that a month from now, my girlfriend is making fun of me for how insane it is that I have 40 pounds of rice. But
I love Danny.
I think a good thing. I love Danny too.
I like when she puts you in your place.
She does put me in my place, but she's just as scared as I am. But listen to this. If you get the coronavirus, you don't need to be running around getting your groceries. So I'm also doing it for society in case I get coronavirus, which I already have. It doesn't matter. I believe I have it.
Right. You definitely have it.
I feel like I have it.
It's always the people who worry the most who end up having it.
Isn't that true?
Yeah.
You know I'm going to get it just because I'm panicked about it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't worry about anything.
Smart.
And then I don't get anything.
Smart. But anyway, there are a lot of people though, and that's why I wanted to cover this, that are not just doing the basics. It's like, and you should be wearing the masks, and I'm happy that you appreciate that. Wear the mask. If you're sick with the flu, with anything, wear a mask.
Oh, if you're sick, wear the mask.
Yes.
Yeah.
That keeps your airborne particles in your mouth.
But if you're not sick, I don't see why you need to be wearing a mask.
I mean,
that's where I stand.
Well,
on
look,
that.
if you're not sick and you're paranoid like me, you might want to get an N95 mask. If you're wearing a surgical mask and you're not sick, you're not doing yourself any favors.
I don't know the difference. What's
an N95 mask is like a special mask with a little it's called a respirator, and it actually filters all the air that you breathe.
Is it like a little black circle on the? Okay,
like
yeah, I've
black
seen these.
Or white, yeah.
Okay,
and so that's going to take in the air, and the way these viruses spread is through airborne droplets, and so that little white circle thing will suck in the droplet, and then it won't let the virus go inside of you.
Okay.
Which prevents you from getting sick.
Have you not been eating at restaurants and stuff like that to avoid
I order
germs?
Seamless, and I am afraid of Seamless. I do think they are going to bring the virus into my home. That's why I'm stocking up on rice and beans and other Tyson chicken.
I wish your body the best of luck after eating rice and beans for 6 weeks straight.
No, I'm going to be really fat. Scotty J writes, back to the situation here, guys. Not the asshole. Most jobs have a hygiene code in their policy. If you could tell someone to use more deodorant, then you could tell them to cover their mouth. They can be upset if they want to be, as long as they still cover their mouth. Is that ring true with you? I would actually feel like telling someone to wear deodorant. You need to broach that carefully.
I don't think you can do that unless
Right?
it's causing like a public health.
Yeah, because that's kind of aesthetic when you get down to it.
Yeah, like unless it is so bad that people are passing out around you.
Wow.
I don't
Noxious
think you
BO.
can do that. And they've started cracking down on a lot of things in offices. I know that because there were certain aesthetic things that used to be allowed. Like you used to have to tell women that they had to wear more makeup to go to work. Yeah, I mean, in certain professions, I'm sure it's more important than in others.
Like a stripper.
Yeah, like a stripper, a sex worker.
Right.
No, like
a waitress.
Like a sale. Like if you work in sales
absolutely.
or
client facing. That's what it is, really.
Client facing, yeah. But
we're all strippers, really, if we're facing clients.
It's the oldest profession.
Right? Metaphorically.
Sex
prostitution.
Work.
Right?
Yeah. But I think that they overrode that.
Yeah.
I can't speak to specifics.
Right.
But I know that a couple of years ago, there was a big case of this woman who sued her boss for saying that she needed to wear more makeup. I don't think that you can just tell anybody to do anything.
I would be careful with it.
And especially the coughing thing. Like if somebody came up to me and said, hey, can you please cover your mouth when you cough? I mean, I already cover my mouth when I cough, but if it was something to the equivalent of that, like, hey, can you please like wipe your hands down with a towelette after you eat lunch? Like, cause it's really not hygienic. I'd be like, are you telling me how to be a human? Do you know what I mean? Like, I've lived this long on this earth. How can somebody tell me?
I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't know how
I wouldn't
to
say anything.
I
would just stay away from that person.
Yeah, that's what I did today. One of my coworkers was coughing, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm not sitting where I normally sit, and just sat somewhere else.
Where did you sit?
Far away.
You found another. Is it like a desk?
There's like nooks in our office that you could sit in. So
you found a nook.
I grabbed a nook and I camped out, and people were like, why are you sitting over here? I was like, well, take a listen. Listen to the office ambiance, and you tell me why you think I might sit here. Mark S. writes, whoever doesn't just say it to his face is the asshole. What are you, 12? I mean, I think saying it to their face is probably correct, but also that could get you fired. I don't know. I'm very hesitant with these HR kinds of things. It's telling people what to do. I mean, this doesn't seem the same as telling a woman to wear more makeup. Obviously, that's egregious. I could just see this being spun a bad way.
Yeah, I don't think what I'm saying is I don't think either one is okay. I think just let people do what they're doing.
Put up a sign. What if you put up a sign? They did put up signs in my office.
Put up a sign that says "Cover your mouth when you cough."
Remember to cover your mouth when you cough.
Oh, like as a
reminder.
But that could almost be seen as like in these times we need to be washing our hands and covering. Yeah, that could work.
Well, I think this is a these times thing. Obviously, this is coronavirus related.
It doesn't say that, though.
Yes, it is. Please. It's paranoia. Chantel B writes, NTA, especially with the pending pandemic. Wow. As if he was offended. It's common hygiene practice.
Oh, shut up. I'm like not, I'm not
you
into.
Don't like Chantel?
No, I don't like Chantal. Chantal's a bitch.
Whoa.
I said
that we're not allowed to, I would have to give you a strike in the group if you said that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, really? Because of like community
You're attacking
guidelines?
A commenter, yeah.
Well, everyone knows Chantal is a bitch name. I'm not like making this up.
You're like, yeah. Well, that's one strike for you. I'm going to have to boot you out of the old Facebook group.
I'm sorry.
Usually it's a man calling a woman a bee.
Well, if you have a bitch name, I can't help but calling you
so
out
it's the
on
name. It's the name. That
It's
you have a problem
mostly
with.
the name, but I think it's also like the wow ... as if he was offended. I hate when people write ... in
Yeah, ...
text.
is kind of rude.
Yeah, I just find it like you're trying to make a point of the fact that you're pausing. Like if you just put a comma, everyone would get it.
Don't waste my time.
Don't
with
waste my time with your fucking ellipses.
Don't waste ink with your ellipses.
Yeah.
I like that. Bottom line, I don't think it's an asshole move, though. I really don't. I think it's fine. If you saw someone not covering their mouth, like if someone came at me and they're like, Danny, I feel like you're not covering your mouth, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I thought I was. I'll be super careful. Like that would be my reaction.
If it was your coworker?
Yeah, my coworker was like, hey man, can you just make sure to cover your mouth? I'd be like, was I not? That's what I would say.
I'm trying to think. It's been a while since I worked in an office, but I think that if one of my coworkers came up to me.
Or what if your podcast co-host? What if Andrea was yakking around? You would tell her straight up.
I mean, we
She's your coworker?
Yeah, but we tell each other like when each other's nipples are out.
Well,
like we
that's
tell
important too.
Yeah, but like I
but
have
the question is asshole. The question is not. We were talking about it from an office perspective, which I think that's going to make people paranoid because HR is a thing. But from an asshole perspective,
I would probably go. What do you call it when? There's
no assholes here.
No assholes here is what I would say.
He's making probably a mistake. He's not maliciously.
I would say that because I think it's partially justified to be scared about this, but I also think he's not doing it intentionally. So there you go.
I don't know if I can do no assholes here because I feel like if you're a grown man and someone has to remind you of this, you really should be a little more on top of it, especially if you're sick, just because don't get...
Sometimes you cough and you don't have time to cover your mouth.
Yeah, but that's not this situation. He's obviously regularly coughing and you're an asshole. That's what being an asshole is. You're being selfish. You're not thinking about others with your behavior. Which
this person could be an unreliable narrator though.
Okay, Emily, if you're going to play that game.
You don't think that somebody who writes in a Reddit group about somebody else's coughing...
This was directly posted to the Facebook group.
Well, Facebook is much classier.
Do not come for Nikki.
I'm sorry, Nikki.
I think we're not going to agree on this. I am saying not the asshole and the other person is. I think any grown man who can't cough into his elbow, huge asshole. Get it straight, folks. AITA for not sharing my monetary success with my family. Back in 2015, I opened my own business. During that time, I was working a boring office job and living paycheck to paycheck. I was making £26,000 a year, whereas my siblings and my parents were making way more than me. Some of them even made double what I made, or triple. When I opened my business, I asked if they wanted to invest as little as £100 in it. No one did. My entire family thought that my business was going to fail, just like I failed my sixth form. I don't know what that is.
Me neither. It's some British shit.
Some British bullshit. It doesn't fucking matter. Rude of them to even include it. In 2018 and 2019, my business literally boomed. Literally boomed. So it just went boom. $100,000 appear. It allowed me to quit my job, and now I make just on the borderline of 7 figures a year. Wowza.
Damn.
My parents still have around £200,000 in mortgage payments left and are about to retire. Yesterday at a family reunion, my aunt asked why I don't help them out financially, considering I make more in a year than they make in a decade. I told them because they had no hope in me and did not want to invest in my company when it was at its baby steps. I also told her that my parents made more than enough to put aside some money each month towards retirement. But due to their unorganized spending habits, they were living paycheck to paycheck every month. They were making triple what I was making when I was an office boy. My aunt called me an asshole for not helping them out and spending my wealth on quote-unquote lavish things. I told her I earned my shit through hard work, sleepless nights, and dedication. So am I really the asshole here?
All right. There's a lot to unpack here. So first of all, this person, do we know if this is a man or a woman?
We do not know.
Okay. Well, regardless, this person used to make the least of anyone in their family.
£26,000 a year. My back of my
like
brain
40,000 a year.
About 40 grand a year.
Yeah. And now they make the most.
Yes.
So the question is, are they an asshole for not contributing to the parents' mortgage? I'm
Right.
guessing that they weren't expected to contribute anything when they made significantly less money.
Right.
I wonder if the other siblings do. Because, and the
Okay.
reason why I say that is because I'm in a situation where my sister, who is a baller, my sister
Hell yeah.
eats gold and rides a pony to work.
Oh my God, how beautiful.
She's just loaded and makes the most out of any of my
And
siblings.
shits rainbows? I know it's impolite to ask, but she does shit rainbows. How
No, it's a
beautiful.
medical question. It's
Oh,
fine.
wonderful. Thank you.
But she does contribute to my mom's rent.
Really?
Mhm.
To your mom's rent?
To my mom's rent, and she actually pays her salary. My mom works for my sister.
Holy shit. What does your sister do?
My sister is the executive producer at a post-production company.
No way.
Yeah, they produce
That's
and edit
cool.
commercials, TV commercials.
Hell yeah.
And her husband, my brother-in-law, is an editor there at the same company.
So your sister is a freaking boss.
Yeah,
Love
she's a
this lady.
boss. And again, like she is happy to contribute to my mom. And like I said, my mom also works for her. She nannies
Right.
for my sister's children full time. Yeah.
Oh,
but-
literal nanny. Nana nanny.
Yes, exactly.
That's fun.
Yeah, she's a Gigi. They call her Gigi.
Wow.
But a couple of years ago, my sister texted me and my brother asking if we would start contributing a little bit to my mom's rent. And especially for me at the time, I made like 20 grand a year at the time. And I was like, honestly, I can't even afford to keep myself afloat. So no, I'm not going to contribute.
You said all that.
Yes. Yeah.
That's great. That's a great answer.
Because when I thought about it, and I really did think about it, because I think it's unfair for my sister to have to be the only contributor.
She wants to.
But she wants to, and she put herself in that situation, and that doesn't mean that I'm beholden to help support my mom.
Of course not.
Especially because I can't. But I'm thinking, like, even if I made a lot more money, like this person, I'm still not beholden to. Like, just because somebody decided to have you,
right,
doesn't mean that you have to support them, especially if they're young and capable. And it sounds like from what this person observes of their parents, they are young, capable people. It's just that they're spending past their limit.
Yeah.
So
yeah. They're spending more than they make.
I say not the asshole.
Okay, well, I think you're a little eager, but I loved your anecdote.
Okay.
I have some indictments against this guy. I think my first indictment is the notion that people should necessarily invest in your business. There's a lot of reasons.
Well, that part I think is a little bitter.
Thank you. That's exactly where I'm going.
Yeah.
There's plenty of reasons to not invest in someone. They may be an idiot. They may have a bad pitch. You may be too early to the market. Can you imagine if in the year 2000 you were trying to sell 9/11 tribute shirts? Well, that's incoherent. 9/11 hasn't even happened yet. But in other words, there's any myriad of reasons, many of which are not malicious or that show poor will, to not invest. And like, I'm guessing, I'm going to say that they were maybe a little bit discouraging, and that's a little mean, but like to hold it against them, like he was kind of doing something outrageous. Here he is at the beginning of his career, ostensibly, right? Because 26,000 pounds, that's an entry-level job.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Mom, Dad, I'm going to go do something that, for all intents and purposes, came off as crazy. And he happened to be right about it. And it's like, so you were right. Is that not enough for you that you were fucking right and make 7 figures a year that now you have to look down on your parents? And I think that's what I don't like about this guy. It's like, it is weird that the aunt is then like, why aren't you helping them? I'd be like, that's none of your business, Aunt Rose. Why can't you stay married for longer than 3 years? Huh? You want to ask questions?
Wow, you're making up a narrative about
I
Aunt Rose.
see. No, I see right into these people.
Well, if she's getting that involved, she must not have a lot going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's a nosy auntie. And I think with the parents, it's like, okay, well, if he's gonna like slam them like this, then I think he needs to step in. Like if my parents were doing this, you better believe I would step in. I'd be like, folks, what are we doing here? He says they both make over 6 figures 2 or 3 times. So we'll just say it's like 80 and 120. That's 200 grand. It's like, and you all are not paying off your mortgage. The end of your careers are coming up. you know, like, I'm not going to give you money first. I'll give you money if like we make some cuts and I still want you to be comfortable because you're my folks. And like, I think that's your sister's mentality, right?
Yeah.
She's like, she wants her mom to be comfortable.
And she has the means to do it.
And that's a beautiful thing.
But at the same time, you know, my sister has a family and they want to be saving for their kids' college.
Of course.
And just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean that you are supposed to give it to your parent. Like
No, not obligated. Not obligated.
The thing is, like, what's that old adage that's it's like teach a man to fish,
Yes.
he'll eat for a day.
Teach a man to fish.
Give a man a fish.
A doctor comes every often.
Yeah. Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day.
Yes.
Teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime.
Sure.
If this person really cares, then he would at least maybe sit down with his parents, help them budget.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
And yeah, maybe cut them a check, but I don't know about like an ongoing payment plan.
You don't have to do that, and I don't think anyone has to do that. I mean, I think it's normal. I mean, I have a friend who is killing it in his career, and he bought his parents' house. So then now he's well, I mean, it's in like podunk nowhere, but not that it's a cheap house, but you know,
in Arizona.
Not in Arizona, but you know, it's probably like a $200,000 house. But like,
right.
100,000 pounds. Hey, what? Oh, it was right near the Jimmy. I don't know what that means, but
that means sprinkles.
It's right near the sprinkles. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's a great thing. If you love your parents and they're economically not doing so hot, it's great to help them out. I don't think you're obligated, but I think you should probably step in, especially if you're killing it and are financially killing it, rather than just like look down upon them and like scream at your aunts.
But I don't think you're an asshole for not doing it. That's what I'm saying. Like,
no,
I think it's a nice thing to do for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think that you're an asshole for not giving your parents money.
No, I don't think this guy is going to be an asshole in this situation. I think he's an asshole because of his logic, but I will probably not rule based on that. But first, Craig M says YTA does think he's an asshole, Emily. Who cares if they didn't invest in your business? They are family. If your parents are struggling to retire, as you imply, and you have money just sitting around, you are being ridiculous and petty for not wanting to help them out. Don't agree with that. You know, it's his money. It's not just sitting around. He could be putting it to any kind of good use. I mean, he is putting it to good use. He has 7 figures of revenue.
I wonder if his parents came to him and asked him for money, if he would give them money.
Well, no, that's not the situation, right?
Right. It sounds like the aunt
asked why I don't help them out financially, considering I make more in a year than they make in a decade.
Right. But it could be that he doesn't want to voluntarily give them money,
right?
Because they've never truly supported him in his career.
But he didn't go that far. He just said when he opened his business, they didn't give him any money, you know?
Because they're poor. They have a mortgage.
Yeah, they have a mortgage that
they're poor now. They were poor then. Yeah,
probably. I mean, I do think he is being ridiculous and petty for not wanting to help them out. But I think that help does not need to be, here's a check. I think the help needs to be like, folks, what are we doing? You know, and openness to help, like budget, like we said. Mandy H writes, everyone sucks here, kind of. Presumably, your parents fed you, housed you, gave you clothes, and provided for you during your childhood. I'm not saying anyone is required to give money to their parents because your parents made the decision to have kids, but it's not like they never did anything for you. You don't have to pay off their house, but maybe like take them out to a nice dinner, vacation, etc., just to show a little gratitude. I mean, I think that is reasonable. I also think that like this is unhealthy to hold something like this against people. This is a communication thing, right? Like, I'm assuming that his parents aren't like abusive monsters otherwise, but like the fact that he like is still really angry about that at them for not investing in his business, like, so say that hurt you. Let them have an opportunity to make good on it because you know, they may not know that really hurt you.
Yeah, I agree. I think they need to have a talk But I think just cutting them a check is not going to solve the problem.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Teach a man or give a man a fish. And by the way, don't give a man a fish. Cut it up. Go to the
Cook
fish
it,
butcher.
fillet it. Yeah, he still needs to do a lot of preparation once you give him a fish.
Put some spices. Stephanie Ann writes, they didn't help me, so I won't help them. It's such a childish mindset. You don't owe them all your money, but YTA for your reasoning and petty mindset. I think that's spot on. Now, classically, we do not rule based on a mindset because his behavior here isn't necessarily asshole-ish, but we haven't got to the verdict just yet, people. Whisper M, they aren't entitled to any of your money, but your mindset, this is a similar comment, but your mindset of, quote, they didn't help me, so I won't help them is pretty assholey, not to mention the tiny fortune they've spent raising you because kids are,
Oh, shut up.
I'm over that.
Yeah, that's not a good argument.
No.
Like, there are good arguments here. That's not a good one because
if you have a kid.
I didn't ask to be born.
Exactly.
Like, I owe you because you spent money raising me how you saw fit. That doesn't make any sense to me.
No, yeah, that's on you. There's a story, I forgot who it was, or some celebrity or like some famous historical figure, and the dad sent him an invoice like for what he spent raising him, and the person paid his dad and then never spoke to him again.
Really?
And I thought that was kind of a sick own.
That's amazing. You don't know who that was?
I can't remember who it was. Let's just say it was Walt Disney. Fuck it.
It was definitely Walt Disney.
It was definitely Walt. Christopher H. NTA. It sounds harsh, but don't let people who not only didn't believe in you, but also didn't support you at all benefit from your success. It's a parent's job to feed and clothe you. You weren't building up a debt to them because they did so. You do owe them a thank you for raising you, but your money is your money. They aren't hard off. I think I just really like the phrase hard off. I think it's hard up.
Or hard on.
Or hard on. Hard
but it
on,
means a different thing.
If you're hard up, you don't have a hard on.
No, for sure not. Nobody has a hard on in this situation.
No hard ons. Bottom line, I don't like OP, but I think actually, you know what? The question was not sharing my monetary success. And because he chose that weird abstract way of putting it and not money, I actually am going to say YTA because he should be sharing his financial literacy with his parents who are apparently living paycheck to paycheck for no real reason.
Yeah. Okay. When I heard that title, I thought that he wasn't telling his family that he was rich.
Oh, yeah. That would be.
Which would be.
Oh, yeah. It kind of does sound like that. Like, he's keeping it a secret.
Like he's keeping that a secret.
Weird.
Yeah. To me, that would be assholey. I don't think he's an asshole.
So you're saying no assholes here? You don't think the parents are assholes?
I don't think the parents are assholes. I do kind of think the aunt is an asshole. So
she's kind of a nosy Nelly.
Yeah.
So you could say,
I say
not the asshole the aunt is.
I say no assholes here.
No assholes here. Well, you're a tough one, Emily. You don't like to call people assholes.
I'm tough to crack.
AITA. If I, 25F, break up with boyfriend, 27M, of 2 years because he's obsessed with Dave & Buster's. Oh, man, I'm so excited right now. I really don't know where to start with this, and it sounds very petty, but I am at my wit's end dealing with my boyfriend. Some context. We have been together for 2 years, and he is overall fantastic, very thoughtful, kind, funny, interesting, and responsible. For instance, he always brings me my favorite snacks when he goes out with me, even without me even asking for them. He'll comfort me after a tough day at work. I work at a call center and get some crazy ones. For the most part, he's also very respectful of me. We are both raised Catholic, and he's very active in the church and an overall stand-up guy, which I admire a lot. Literally, the only problem in our relation is this obsession with Dave & Buster's. Although we have this problem, I really don't want to leave him. I guess I will just get to the bad part. My boyfriend absolutely must go to Dave & Buster's once a week or else he throws a tantrum. I am not exaggerating when I use the word tantrum. We are talking, crying, stomping, etc. It's bad. He will beg and plead and state that the only thing he wants is for us to, quote, go to Buster's. And if it's been more than a week, he'll say we haven't been in, quote, forever. I've tried talking it through with him. I've suggested other restaurants, even other barcades, but it has to be Dave & Buster's. When I tell him I don't really enjoy going with him and that he could go alone, he says something like, what do you mean? You love Buster's. I give you all the prizes. When we do go, we spend a ridiculous amount of money, which I split with him, and he makes me follow him around to each game to play together. I press him about it, and the only explanation he's been able to give me is that he had his 9th birthday at D&B's and considers it the single best day of his life. How do I help him move past this? I really want to keep dating this man. I know nostalgia can be a powerful force, but this is absolutely unacceptable. What should I do? AITA. This is so funny. I mean, this isn't a real AITA post. I feel obligated to tell you. This is an our relationships post. This person sought advice for the Dave and Buster's debacle.
Do you think this is real?
I buy it.
Really?
I mean, it's like it could always be fake, but like I don't know. I buy it because you know what?
Regardless, we're gonna treat it as if it's real.
Well, it could be fake, but like I don't know. It doesn't seem that ridiculous. Like I've met people who have weird obsessions, and I like Dave and Buster's. I kind of get it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely know people who are obsessed with fast food when they definitely could afford to be eating good food.
Ew, like what?
You know,
specific place?
People fucking love Taco Bell.
I love Taco Bell.
Okay, well, so you're one of these people.
You said obsessed. Like, how often do they get it?
I know people who eat fast food every day.
Oh,
I mean,
you're day?
Yeah, you know, comedians, they eat fast food constantly. Yeah. If you're, and in my world, like, I hate fast food. I mean, I like some fast food.
Of course.
I like Shake Shack.
You don't like an occasional Taco Bell?
I've only had it once.
Emily!
I've only had it once.
You watch your mouth, Emily.
To me, it was like, it tasted like plastic. Like it tasted like plastic
it's good
cheese.
Plastic cheese.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, it also gives you diarrhea. So
I love diarrhea.
I mean, what's not to like? It's like a cleanse. I think that this person, if this is real, and if he truly is this obsessed with Dave and Buster's, has some kind of trauma.
Yeah, I see that. Right.
That he really needs to pay attention to because I'm not dating anybody as an adult who has tantrums over anything, let alone a subpar barcade restaurant.
Subpar. I think it's best in its class.
I mean,
Emily, this is about me. Fuck you. No.
I mean, at a certain point, haven't you played all the games and eaten
That's
all
true.
the
How
food?
big is this Dave and Buster's?
Like, are they going to a different Dave and Buster's every time?
It's
the same one. I don't know, man. Like, I wouldn't. She says that every single thing is great except for this one thing.
I have trouble believing
that because somebody who would throw a tantrum. The word tantrum.
Tantrum is a weird. Tantrum is for 2-year-olds.
I don't think I've never seen my boyfriend throw a tantrum.
I've thrown a tantrum. I got a tantrum for you.
But you threw a tantrum when somebody touched your pizza.
Yes, when someone. Well, I just left, but yeah, I got upset. But a true tantrum I threw is. I used to have such problems getting packages at my old apartment.
Oh, like getting them delivered.
They would need a signature, and then they wouldn't call me when they were there. There was no way for me to give the signature because there was no doorbell. It was like always a nightmare to get a package. And one time I was waiting for something. I don't even remember what it was, but it was something I really wanted. And sure enough, I didn't get it because UPS claimed they came by and like I wasn't sitting by the door all day because I'm not insane.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like freaked out and started punching my couch over and over. And then Danny, my girlfriend, got really mad. And she's like, that's not an appropriate way to express yourself.
Right.
And I was like, but it just angers me that UPS sucks so hard.
But that's a little bit more like this had happened to you multiple times and it had been building up. How would Danny react if you started punching the couch every time she didn't want to take you to Cheesecake Factory?
How did you know I like Cheesecake Factory?
Everybody loves Cheesecake Factory.
Everybody loves Cheesecake Factory.
Also, I love the fact that he calls it just Buster's.
That's
like if I called Cheesecake Factory the Factory.
Oh, I hate that.
Do you want to go to the factory?
Oh, it's so lame.
I just think the only way to solve this is therapy.
Clearly.
And if he doesn't want to go to therapy, then you have to break up with him because what are you going to do? You're going to have your wedding at Dave and Buster's?
Yeah, at least a reception.
You know what I might do, actually? I just thought about it more. I might tell him that we could have our wedding at Dave and Buster's if we never have to go to Dave and Buster's again on any other day.
He would not accept that. I don't think he would do that.
If it was the single best day of his life,
know-
what more, like what else could make you happy other than having the second best day of your life, your wedding day at Dave and Buster's?
Never go again. And by the way, Emily, I think you're trying to put on some airs here.
What do you mean?
What's your trashy thing you like? Quit acting like you're all classy.
I like trashy things. I just don't like fast food.
Hit us with it.
I like reality TV.
That's bad.
I watch The Bachelor.
Worse. Give me something worse.
Worse.
Soda.
Oh, yeah, I drink diet soda.
You drink diet soda?
But, I didn't until this year. This year, I started juuling and I started drinking.
Oh, juuling soda.
Yeah, I started juuling soda.
What's your soda?
I know you said Juul and soda. It just sounded like you said juuling soda.
You vaporize soda.
Coke Zero. I like Coke Zero.
Coke Zero? Oh, my God. I was literally writing a stand-up bit one time, which I never performed or anything, but I was like, I've never met anyone who drinks Coke Zero.
Really? It tastes more like Coke.
Than Diet Coke?
Yeah, it tastes... Diet Coke is like, sometimes it's refreshingly tasteless. Like, I do like Diet Coke too, because it kind of like burns your throat in a nice way. But Coke Zero is sweeter and it tastes more like original Coke.
Wow.
They also do different flavors. There's a cherry one. I had the cherry one today. Yeah, I love soda, but I didn't drink soda for years until
just got on to
literally
soda.
this year because multiple reasons. So one, I was drinking a lot of coffee and but I don't like the taste of coffee. I have a sweet tooth. I'm one of those people who
I can't.
I make my coffee taste like melted coffee ice cream.
Oh God.
So it got to the point where like I couldn't be worrying constantly about whether my coffee was going to be sweet enough and like carrying around Splenda in my bag. And like, it was like it was too much. So
you're a maniac. You're a sugarholic, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Wow.
Yeah, I am. So I started drinking soda and then the juuling started because I am dating someone who jewels. And so it's always like the secondhand jewel.
I bet Dave and Buster's pairs really well with some jewel. IVE writes, leave him because he throws temper tantrums and does not get his way, not because he's obsessed with Dave and Buster's. For fuck's sake, he's a man-child that needs to grow up. And if you leave him because he acts like a 3-year-old, then NTA. I think that's pretty spot on. Mark S., if that's truly, quote-unquote, literally the only problem with this dude, then you're definitely the asshole. What? It's time to get honest deep down. You really want somebody else. Go be a dirty girl for a minute. Scratch that itch. Mark S., what are you on?
Oh, Mark S.
Scratch that itch.
Somebody else needs therapy.
I think Mark S. is might be this about him. He's obsessed with Dave and Buster's or something. He doesn't see any issue with this. This is insane behavior.
Go be a dirty girl for a minute?
Yeah, what? This is a weird sexual...
I don't even know what that means.
I think he's trying to say that she's projecting dissatisfaction. She needs to get fucked, I guess.
Like go cheat on him?
I guess. I don't know. Who's she going to cheat on him with? Dave or Buster?
How can we ignore that this is a problem? Like it's a silly problem, but it's still a problem.
The tantrums aren't silly. The tantrums are emotional dysfunction.
I'm saying the silly part.
The content is silly.
Yeah, the silly part is the obsession happens to be with an arcade restaurant.
Aimed largely at children.
Well,
I guess Dave and Buster's is kind of aiming a little higher. If it was Chuck E. Cheese, I'd be like, bro, you're a pedophile.
Aren't they the same?
No.
I've never been to Dave and Buster's.
You've never been to Dave and Buster's?
No, and I don't care to because I'm an adult.
No.
I also don't. But I would go if my boyfriend was into Dave and Buster's, I would go.
Yeah, you'd try it at least.
I would try it, just like I tried Taco Bell.
You gotta try it, by the way.
I'll try anything once. I will try anything once.
Yeah, you gotta try it.
But every week, I'm not doing...
That's a lot.
Yeah, like I don't go anywhere every week.
Yeah.
It's crazy. If you're literally throwing tantrums over that, you need to be quarantined.
That's like a league. Is there a Dave and Buster's league? Angela A. offers a practical solution. Have him get a job at Dave and Buster's. He could be there several days a week, and instead of spending money, he can make money. All while you won't even have to be there. If he takes it too far and doesn't want to leave, then he can hear it from his boss. Look at that. He can get some hours in. Top comment on Reddit. Lemonade4 writes, stop going with him. Let him throw the tantrum. He needs to learn. He can't stomp his feet and cry to get his way. If he's going to act like a toddler, you should treat him like a toddler. I concur with that, Emily. I say give him a big ol' spanking. Spank him all the way to therapy. I think we agree, though, on this. I think we're probably going to find some agreement. AITA, if I break up with my boyfriend of 2 years because he's obsessed with Dave and Buster's, Not the asshole.
Not the asshole.
And he is, I guess. Or would you say no assholes here? No, he's an asshole.
He's an asshole.
You're out of control.
This is ridiculous.
So we are going with not the asshole. All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap things up, but a little final thing here. I think this is fascinating. I've heard other women complain about this, Emily. I had a roommate who was always, being invited to do weddings, be a bridesmaid, and you can really rack up quite a bill. I mean,
you really
give us the men some insight here. I mean, I had to spend $200 on a suit once when I was a best man, but otherwise, not bad.
I get the sense that it's just not anywhere near the financial expense, but I think that wedding culture and wedding culture is something that I'm really against at my core.
Sure.
I just feel like people turn their wedding into like this ridiculous circus where like everyone needs to just dote on them for an entire year.
Right.
It's different if you just need to go for one day, bring a gift, book a hotel.
Sure.
These are all normal things, but each wedding that I've ever been to, there's been like 4 different events leading up to it.
Coachella, I call it. Wedding Coachella.
Yes, it's Wedding Coachella.
It's crazy.
There's the engagement party, the bridal shower, the bachelorette party.
Oh, God.
The rehearsal dinner, and then the wedding. So that's 5. There's 5 things.
And then, don't forget the post-wedding brunch. A lot of people throw on the brunch.
Oh, yeah. And people also do destination weddings a lot more now. Like, it's getting out of control.
It's crazy.
And I think that we're in this cycle where every group of friends, let's say the first few people to get married, they have these big extravagant weddings because they expect the other people in the group of friends to eventually have weddings, and then they'll expect these lavish gifts and whatever from them, so it'll all kind of even out in the end.
I guess so.
But what we're ignoring is the fact that some people just don't make enough money to even throw an extravagant wedding, and will never make you do that. So, like, for example, I can't imagine making people pay $300 for a bridesmaid's dress.
But you were telling me you've racked up a far greater bill.
So right now, because I've been budgeting, I got invited to my childhood best friend's wedding, and there's no way that I wouldn't go. And let me just preface this by saying, if there's anybody on this planet that I would do all of this for, it's definitely this girl.
Right.
But I've already spent $450, and that's been on the down payment for the bachelorette party, which is a weekend in Fire Island. My bridesmaid's dress.
In Fire Island, not even on it. I'm sorry, I had to. I just pictured a bunch of girls like deep underground.
We're burrowing through the island.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, to
That's
China.
So cool. I don't recommend China right now, Emily.
Well, you can't fly there.
I know you don't believe in Wuhan, but it's happening.
And then what else is it? The hair and makeup. That's $85 each.
Wow.
Separate charges. And we have to get it. It's not like I can't show up to this wedding looking like a mop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need to
looking like a mop.
I need to look groomed. I need to look put together.
Looking like a mop. I just picture an actual mop. Hello.
In a dress. In a blue dress.
People are like, you look really thin. Are you eating enough?
Oh, a funny story. I'm actually a mop.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And then gifts for everything. So I have a shower next weekend. I had to buy her a gift.
Yeah.
For the wedding, I obviously need to get her a gift. And then for the bachelorette party, I need to buy supplies because it's like a rental house situation. So anyway, the whole thing racks up. I did like a projected amount that I'm going to spend, and it's $1,200.
Yeah.
And not to give too much away, but like $1,200 is probably 3 months' salary for me.
Yeah.
So this is the equivalent of an engagement ring for me.
Wow.
Yeah. And
thank you for your honesty. I don't think a lot of people would admit that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm a starving artist.
Yeah.
And so I think these times are always when you see that there's a crossroads between you and your friends.
Yeah.
And having to kind of delicately dance around like, I can't pay you for that right now. Like,
yes. So how are you going to dance around that? I guess that's where
So what I've been doing is I've been putting the deposits on everything that I need to, and I've been buying everything that I need to. But I've been very honest with the bride as far as like, I'm so honored to be your bridesmaid, but just know that I can't pay this right now. Like I need to like be on some kind of a payment plan so that by August you'll be like, you'll have all the money that you need, but I'm not going to do it like in the time that I'm supposed to do it. Cause when you put a down payment on a house for a weekend, you need to pay it immediately. Like she needed to put, you know, I don't know what, maybe like $3,000 deposit on this house.
So, but I think that's very reasonable. You know, I guess my question for you though is, so like now this was your best friend growing up. You said this is the one person you're going to go out of your way for. What if your second best friend growing up reaches out? Are you going to be upfront and just say like, hey, this would be a huge financial strain for me. I don't think I can do this. What are you going to do?
I have made a hard and fast rule. No more out of town bachelorette parties.
Wow.
I'll go to an out of town wedding, but that's it. I'm no out of town showers. I'm putting like a hard limit on myself because if you keep the policy the same for everyone, then nobody's feelings get hurt. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's always about communication. As long as you communicate, like I have a friend and we've laughed really hard about this who like just ghosted on a wedding. And then he's like, yeah, that guy doesn't talk to me anymore. I was like, yeah, you can't.
Wait, like he said he was going to a wedding and then
he just said nothing. He was invited.
Oh, he didn't RSVP.
He didn't RSVP or anything. And I was like, well, yeah, that's very disrespectful.
Why?
Like,
he just forgot?
He just like couldn't afford to go, but didn't want to say anything.
Oh my God, you're like, the asshole.
Of course. And like, I think most of this does come down to that. And I used to think for a while that like being at someone's wedding was like such a big deal. But now I've realized like it really doesn't matter who's at your wedding or who's not. Like I didn't go to one of my friends' weddings and I was sad about it at the time. I wasn't invited to this person's wedding because I did a Danny.
Oh, so it's not like you didn't go.
No, I deserve to not be. I did a Danny Vega move and I said something fucked up. And you know how these things go with me, Emily.
You said something that fucked up that you weren't invited to their wedding.
Yeah. I fucked up.
Do you want to share with the class?
Yeah, I think it was like the kind of thing where they early in their relationship, I had advocated against her then husband or something.
Okay.
So, you know, it wasn't a thing said maliciously. It was said honestly, but I didn't know.
But it was also years before.
It was years before, but, you know, it's a whole political thing. But as usual, I am the asshole. But you know what I realized? That person is still in my life and I'm still in their life. And so it's not necessarily a deal breaker if you can't go or
if you can't go to the wedding, like that's completely on you. But the thing that's tough is when you want to be able to do all these things.
Absolutely.
And obviously this is an important thing to that person. Personally, like I said, I don't give a fuck about weddings. Like I think they're very stupid and I think it's all a waste of time, but it's important to other people. So I can appreciate that they want me to be there and I want to be there for what they see as the most important day of their life.
Right.
So that's where I start.
A little bit condescending. What they see as the most important day of their life.
Well, what are we talking about when we get down to it? We're talking about a big party that, like, if you don't have a wedding, you can still be married.
I've come to grips with the wedding as I am essentially, you know, going down that direction with my girl.
Yeah.
And I've realized, look, it is the most important decision you make, unless it's not. But it usually is the most, half the time. It's the most important decision you make in your entire life. And so you should have a big party because what else are you going to do that matters?
I don't think there's anything wrong with having a party. Yeah. I just think it's gotten out of hand. Like, I'm definitely not saying that I wouldn't have a wedding if I were to get married.
Right.
But I would like to think that I wouldn't. I would like to think the pageantry wouldn't be as important to me as it seems to be.
It used to be the Super Bowl, and when it was the Super Bowl, it was reasonable.
Yeah,
and now it's Coachella, and now it's not even like year. It's like year 10 Coachella. Remember when Coachella was one weekend, and then they're like, no, now Coachella is 2 weekends, and you're like, what? So there is no Coachella. It's Coachellas.
I think like we just can't have nice things. Like I think things just keep getting too much. Everybody's trying to top everybody else.
It really is. It's so stupid.
It's so stupid. And the amount of money. It's one thing to be spending that much money on your own party. But let's just put it this way. The only way I would have a bunch of bridesmaids and make them spend more than $100 on a bridesmaid's dress is if I could pay for it myself.
I think that's fair. And I think especially, look, people have to have their eyes open with money. If you're going to, like, I have a friend who is usually struggling for dough. And I know that if I'm going to ask this and that of him for my wedding, I gotta have to cover it.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
He's my
and
friend.
that's your friend, and if
That's
you have the
it.
means, then
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
And that's how people need to be more of, and not be stubbornly like, well, you need to get the money. Bah. Like if you know, like, because there are people who make like 6 figures and they have friends with who barely make $5 a year. And that's just it. If you can't afford it, be giving. It feels good to be giving.
Yeah.
And I think there's too much stubbornness from some people, you know?
Yeah, but to be clear, it's not like I hate love or I hate the celebration of love. Like I think it's all great.
You don't hate love. You're gonna go down as saying that?
I do not. I'm on the record. On the record, I don't hate love.
Don't hate love.
But I think that I'm against the pageantry. I'm against I'm against like every year on Father's Day seeing like 2,000 women posting pictures of them dancing with their father at their wedding as like their happy Father's Day picture as an excuse to like get more value out of the photography that they took at their wedding.
Whoa, what's wrong with that?
I think it's gross. I think it's like people. Why do I think it's gross? Because you're making a holiday that's meant to celebrate your father about yourself by posting a picture of you in your wedding dress. That's what I think is gross.
Oh, I see where you're going with that. So it's not a pure celebration.
No, or like you ever see people post like happy birthday to my best friend and it's a photo of them on their wedding with their best friend. It's just
I see where you're getting at.
I find that people are exploiting this because they don't get that attention in everyday life maybe, and they need to like make sure that people see them looking their best.
I was married.
And it's a status thing. I just find it super gross.
Yeah, I agree. I see some grossness there. I don't think it's going to hit me how it hits you, but I see it.
I think it would if you were in my position of like being surrounded by it.
Yeah.
I think that it doesn't affect men as much.
I think it would hit me like a bunch of Taco Bell if I were you. Emily, it's been so great to have you on the program. Tell these people where they can find you or anything you want to plug. Plug it up.
Sure. You can listen to my podcast, The Hot Mess Comedy Hour, on iTunes or Spotify or wherever podcasts are available. And you can follow me at Lubination everywhere. That's Lubination. Lubin Asian.
Nice. Lubin. We didn't really talk about your last name, Lubin.
Yeah.
Lubin. Did you get a lot of jokes when you were a kid?
When I was a teenager, yeah.
And how'd they go? They Lubin it up.
That was fine.
Lubin it up?
It was fine.
What would they say?
People would call me Lube. Kids are not really that creative.
Lube. So people, because I would see like if you were with a guy, I'd be like, "Are you lubing it up?" That's what I would say.
I did make a T-shirt a few years ago with my face on it that said, "Let's put the lube in and have some fun."
Nice.
I did, but I made that T-shirt. Like nobody really made the joke at me.
So you really went for it.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Emily, you put some lube in the podcast, folks. We'll see you next Monday morning.